Hello everybody, welcome to Brick Vault. In this video, I get to show you a custom LEGO creation of perhaps the most notorious capital ship in all of the Star Wars universe, commanded by General Grievous and the flagship of the whole Separatist Navy. This is the Invisible Hand from the LEGO designer Tan Bricks. Officially, it's classified as a Providence-class Dreadnought, and the Invisible Hand was the first of its class ever built. This warship held massive complements of fighting droids for both land and air or space, plus held considerably more firepower than a Republic Venator. This ship also goes out in a pretty epic way in the movie, and the designer built in an extra destruction function to mark the occasion in all its glory. Before I jump into the details, however, I do want to say first that if you are interested in building this model for yourself, the instructions can be found at our web store, brickvault.toys. Included with the purchase is a PDF step-by-step building guide and a digital parts list for quickly uploading all the pieces you'll need to make this build happen. Like all the creations in the web store, the instructions here have been troubleshot and tested thoroughly to make sure the build goes smoothly. Getting instructions is a great way to help support what we do here at the channel, and it supports the immensely talented designers we work with, like Tan Bricks, who has built a scaling Munificent class star frigate, and in general this is just adding to the growing and growing Separatist Clone Wars fleet builds. You can click the link in the description below if you want to get started, and let's get back to the Invisible Hand. This is a big boy, coming in at 70 centimeters long, 17 centimeters wide, and 30 centimeters high. It registers pretty darn well with our nanoscale models, so these two that you see here from the same builder are the correct size compared to each other, and it's really cool for building out a larger Clone Wars themed fleet. But truly, I want to jump straight into the transformation function more than anything on this creation. Well, I don't know if you can call a ship splitting in half a transformation function exactly, but it's the best I can think of right now. So for a large, highly detailed display model, big breakdowns like this are almost unheard of. And it's the first model we've personally encountered here in the studio that can do something like this, especially at this size. An awesome note right off the bat, this ship splits up just in the right spot, like seen in Revenge of the Sith, which is a great little touch. And fortunately, this is just a great spot in the physical frame for the two halves to break away. Each chunk is extremely solid on its own here. The connection is made up of a few pins and clips, which is enough to keep everything together without bowing, and it's also pretty easy to move around. But at the same time, you can split the model without needing like excessive force. It can come apart with just a bit of pulling. After that, the stand in the front half is shifted over by a couple of studs. Some pins in this stand are also pulled out so it can allow for a tilt, and there is an extra brace added to keep the nose off the ground once it's all set up. Then just add a bunch of little fire pieces to either end for some extra damage effects, and you are finished with the break. For a build so big, I was afraid there was going to be some kind of wonky, delicate feature that makes this function like more work than it's worth, but I've gone back and forth several times now, and it's an extremely intuitive feature. Once split, the two halves can be displayed at different distances, which is fun, and now you have two very, very different ways to present a pretty epic ship. Okay, I'm going to put this whole thing back together rapid fire to now focus on the shapes, but this was an unexpectedly awesome addition to the ship. So, proportions and shapes for this model sit really well here. The blacked out nose is some kind of canvas in universe and subsequently has a different texture in LEGO bricks. The thin neck of the model has a solid frame for the multi-layered slope sections that attach to the sides. It's a fluid feature, and these slopes lead straight down into the somewhat cut-in greebled midsection. When you move towards the back, the rear has an extremely complex combination of shapes all synchronizing together. There's a series of curved slopes that envelop the neck. Then you have a subtle arcing shape using internal hinges that leads from there back towards the engines. While at the same time, there's also several layered slope assemblies that extend their way out towards a massive hangar on either side. This is outlined in trans blue. Compounding shapes like this don't just get designed overnight. Tan Bricks has a great order of operations that makes this relatively complex area of the model come together in a really straightforward and accessible way. He also paid tons of attention to little details like intentionally uneven thruster effects in the back, these little tilted fin details right here, minifigure ski poles for days create antennas, and there's just a lot of little things when you look close, and it's great to see a ship like this getting a solid treatment on the micro level, macro level, and everything in between. This was a really fun and oddly easy model to do. I still can't get over how solid that destruction function works here. It's an excellent addition to the larger growing Separatist and Clone Wars themed fleets. And if you ever wanted to build this creation for yourself, remember you can get the instructions at our web store, brickvault.toys, linked in the description below. Of course, let me know which types of builds you want to see coming in the studio next. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of this video. If you enjoy our content, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever it is that you want to do, and we'll see you next time at Brick Vault.